You ever have one of those days where you're so sure you're in control, only to find out the game you thought you were running is being run on you? Picture this late afternoon, downtown Philly. Three white cops have a black man in a tailored charcoal suit pinned face down on polished marble. One's got a knee grinding in his back. I said, "Knees, you deaf? This is federal property." The man doesn't resist, doesn't shout, just says, "Come as you please, I have identification." They don't buy it. And then, like the moment in a movie when the music cuts, the man pulls out not just ID, but a gold FBI badge. Special Agent in Charge, Derek Coleman. "This is my operation, and you're all on camera." Yeah, that happened. A few hours earlier, Coleman had stepped out of his unmarked sedan, adjusting his suit, scanning the gleaming glass face of the Atlas Financial Tower. To anyone watching, he looked like just another high-level exec heading in to tie up loose ends. But in reality, he was scouting, running a quiet recon on three companies inside suspected of white-collar crimes worth tens of millions. He moved with the ease of someone who belonged, eyes cataloging camera angles, blind spots, badge swipe patterns. 15 years in financial crimes had taught him to see a building's vulnerabilities the way most folks see paint colors. In the security office, Nathan Barrett, a veteran guard with a chip on his shoulder and 20 years of knowing trouble when he sees it, watched the cameras. Coleman Black, 6 foot, athletic build appeared on his monitor, pausing at security cameras, taking notes. Barrett didn't see a federal agent at work. He saw a problem. "Dispatch," he said into his phone, "got a suspicious individual in the building. After hours, doesn't look like he belongs." That one sentence set in motion the kind of chain reaction Coleman had seen ruin lives before. Within minutes, 3 uniformed officers rolled up. The lead, Sergeant Tanner, came in with his hand already near his weapon. Coleman kept his voice calm, his hands visible. "Good evening, officers. Is there a problem?" Tanner's eyes said, "You're the problem." Barrett emerged from the elevator, pointing like he'd caught a burglar in the act. When they demanded ID, Coleman knew flashing his badge would blow months of prep. He played it neutral, handed over his driver's license. Tanner looked right past the federal credentials tucked behind it. Within minutes, Coleman was being paraded through the lobby under bright lights, every phone in the place filming. He said nothing, but he made damn sure his face stayed in every frame. That night, in his hotel room-turned-command center, Coleman documented every detail: the badge numbers, the quotes, the faces in the crowd. He called his boss, Director Lawson. "It happened again," he said, and they both knew what it was. This wasn't the first time an undercover black agent had been profiled mid-operation. By morning, Coleman had made his call. They wouldn't postpone. They doubled down. 2 raids instead of 1, the financial crimes takedown and a civil rights investigation. Same building, same day. When he walked through the Atlas lobby at 9 a.m., there was no mistaking who he was. FBI windbreaker. Gold badge out. 12 agents at his back. Barrett's coffee froze halfway to his mouth when he saw the security feed. Tanner showed up minutes later, his confidence evaporating when he spotted Coleman directing the operation. And then came the moment that flipped the board. Harold Westfield, silver-haired, custom-suited owner of the building, stepped off the elevator. Coleman met him halfway, handed him a warrant listing Westfield Holdings among the targets. The color drained from Westfield's face. But Coleman wasn't done. In front of Westfield and Tanner, he turned to Barrett. "Perhaps you'd like to elaborate on why you reported me as suspicious yesterday, based solely on my appearance?" The lobby went dead quiet. Here's where the story shifted from simple, bad cop, wrong guy to something way bigger. The more Coleman's team dug, the more it became clear Barrett's overzealous security wasn't just bias. It was a shield. By hassling certain people, he'd made it less likely anyone would poke around the building's most sensitive tenants. Turns out, that was exactly what Westfield wanted. The discrimination wasn't an accident. It was a security policy, and a damn effective one, until Coleman walked in. Over the next month, the dominoes fell hard. The financial case ballooned from $47 million to $68 million in documented fraud, Ponzi schemes, shell corporations, offshore laundering. The civil rights case uncovered 17 prior incidents where Barrett had called in police on people of color with legitimate business in the building. Barrett was fired. The property management company issued public apologies and mandatory bias training. Tanner was suspended pending investigation, his body cam footage showing a pattern of baseless escalations. Westfield was indicted, his assets frozen, his influence crumbling as political allies backed away. But Coleman didn't just stop at punishment. In court, he argued for systemic reform, new security standards, police retraining, civil rights compliance units. And he got them. 6 months later, Atlas Financial Tower wasn't just under new ownership, it was a model for fair, behavior-based security. The police department, once defensive, was now training others on bias prevention. And Barrett? He was back in security, entry-level, working under the very protocols Coleman had pushed for. One crisp fall morning, Coleman swung by the Atlas Tower on his way to another case. The lobby looked different now, bright, open, welcoming. Where he'd once been humiliated under harsh lights, a bronze plaque read, "Equal access. Equal protection." Every time. No mention of his name. He wouldn't have wanted it. He just watched for a moment people of every color and style walking through without a second glance from security. The kind of normal that only comes after a fight you can't see in a snapshot. Justice isn't always about a big public win. Sometimes it's about what doesn't happen anymore.